Penrith Players presents Strangers in Paradise by Kevin France.
Just get the thing out of the van, will you, Frank?
It won't come out. It's almost had my fingers off twice. I think it must know.
How can it know? It's a dog, not a mind reader. Just drag it out. I've seen bigger hamsters.
Not this fierce, you haven't. If you'd put that gun down, you could help.
I've got one shot. I'm not risking it. Keep hold of it. We don't want it running back to the village.
It's a fierce little bugger. I'm sure it does know.
That's spot on, Frank. Now, wind the rope round the lifebelt post. That's it. Pull it in as far as you can, and try to get its head as tight to the post as possible so I can get a clear shot.
Oh, God, this is awful. But that should do it. Jesus, what a mess. We'll have to clean that up.
Leave it. The tide will wash it away. Put it in the sack, and make sure you fasten the plastic tie. And don't forget the bricks.
Yes, Trevor. Thank you. Lights! A car, back in the van, quick!
No, just stay still. It's dark and we're well off the road. If they do notice the car, they'll just think we're having a bit on the side. See? They never noticed. Right, let's drop this over the edge. That won't surface again. Let's get back home. Are you okay?
I think I had better Tuesday nights.
That you, Trevor?
No, it's me. Got time for a quickie before your hubby gets back?
It'll have to be quick. He's due any minute. Hi, darling. We were just starting to wonder where you'd got to.
Is Frank with you?
I'm here. Stop worrying, Paula.
It's done then.
It's barked its last. Or should I say yelped? Either way, it's gone. Unless it decides to haunt us. A phantom hound!
That's not funny, Trevor. Bark, bark, bark. It was driving
Yes,
me.
Paula, you've said. But now it's gone. Just leave it.
Well, it wasn't as bad for you too. You aren't as close to them as we are. And you could always escape to your Simons. We had to put up with it, day in, day out.
Paula, let it drop. I take it there were no problems.
Apart from Frank bringing enough bricks to build a garage, no. And these clothes will have to be burnt. Who was it in Macbeth that had so much blood in him? That dog could give him a run for his money. Oh, Paula, I hate to say it, but before we got him in the van, it decided to try for a Turner Prize on your lawn.
Oh, not again. And it always does it in the same place.
Not anymore, it won't.
Nasty little brute. Kept trying to get a bite in. But once it smelt the steak, it couldn't get in the back of the van quick enough.
And that was a waste of money. Tin of sardines would have done the trick.
It looked half-starved. Probably why it's so nasty.
I thought at one point you were going to strangle it, Frank. Save me a cartridge.
Well, it's done now. The pair of you deserve a drink. Whiskey, I assume, for you?
As large as you like. And the good stuff, not the cooking muck. Paula, are you not joining us?
I'm fine. I had one just before you came in.
Then have another, a top-up to celebrate.
Go on then. Why not? When you first suggested this, I wasn't at all sure. I mean, I'm not that kind of person. I've always loved animals, so it just seemed so wrong. But now, I don't feel at all guilty. I'm glad we did it.
Yes, Paula, we did it, didn't we? And it's far more effective than asking them to keep it quiet.
That's not fair. It was just a suggestion.
I said from the start, you can't talk to scum like that. But you wouldn't have it.
Oh, Trevor, there's no need.
Don't come that, Paula. You've refused work because of classes filled with their type of kids. And I recall your most unladylike language after what happened to Frank. Brenda and I learnt the hard way in our work that scum is scum the world over.
Listen to that racket. This is a village, not a nightclub.
In Manchester, they have coded gates and spikes on garden walls to protect themselves. I used to think it was stupid. But now...
I don't think Paula was disagreeing with you.
I sometimes wonder if they can even speak English. Mostly it's just grunts and foul language. We haven't been unfriendly, have we? You two found it easy to settle when you moved in. When was it? 4 years ago?
Getting on for 6.
That long? They've been here 6 months and never made an effort to fit in. They've turned the Carraways' garden into a scrapyard. The hours George and Betty spent. It was a beautiful garden. And not just in summer.
11 o'clock and that music's still booming. It wouldn't be so bad if they were at work during the day, but none of them has a job.
Well, we can hardly blame them for that. How much did they win in the lottery? $500,000?
Well, that's what people say.
Why on earth did George and Betty sell it to them? They must have had some idea what they were like.
Quick sale above the asking price, probably.
If they could see the state of the place, it would break their hearts.
A toast to no more clearing up.
Yes. I know you're right. But I'm one of life's worriers. I'm dreading the police coming to see us.
They won't. And if they do, it'll just be Peter, and he's more Clouseau than Morse. We'd be better off with one of those cardboard coppers they put in supermarkets to stop shoplifting.
Oh, come on, Trevor, he did try.
Did he? He said he would go to see them, but I don't think he did. All he could come up with was that we should collect evidence, make a list of events, as if our word's not good enough. And not just ours, mind, but the rest of the village. If you want my opinion, he's scared of them.
It's Mrs. Gordino I feel sorry for. Right next door to them. She's never away from the doctors these days.
Well, at least we've stopped the barking for her.
She'll be grateful for that.
No! Paula, no. This stays between us 4. She'd better not find out. And that goes for the rest of the village. We can't risk what we've done slipping out.
Well, they're bound to wonder where their dog went.
Let them wonder.
But they might suspect we had.
Suspecting isn't knowing. We keep our mouths shut. Even our Simon has no idea. He just thinks I borrowed one of his vans so I can make an early start taking stuff to the tip tomorrow. All we've done is kill a dog. Call it doggy side, poochie side, whatever you want. But it stays with us. Just us. Okay? Now, more drinks, everyone!
Brenda! Brenda!
Hang on, wait a minute. Let me find the key. Yes, I can hear you. For God's sake, Paula, give me a chance. God's truth, what's the matter with you? Pull yourself together. Trevor? Trevor, get yourself in here now.
They know, Brenda, they know.
Knows what? Just sit down and calm down.
I assume you're talking about the dog, Paula?
Yes, the dog, of course the dog. They know about the dog.
They don't know. They can't know. So, what happened to make you think
They do. I'm telling you, they do. Just take a look in our garage if you don't believe me.
Your garage? What about your garage?
Oh, they must have done it after Frank left this morning to visit his brother. He knew I was going to be busy in there, so he left the doors open.
What have they done? Stolen something? We can get the police.
No, I wish they had. They've only covered the place in dog muck. Spread it all over the floor, walls, shelves.
Oh, for Christ's sake.
Okay, let's not panic. We've been expecting something.
Yes, but nothing like this.
This just means they suspect us. They can't know what we've done. All they can be sure of is that their dog's disappeared. Mind you, it's been over a week since we shot the dog. Does make you wonder where they got the muck from.
Trevor, this is serious.
Sorry. But let's remember they can't prove anything.
No? Suspect? What difference does it make to people like
Probably very little, Paula, but panicking won't help. Try to calm down. We'll help you to clean it up.
Frank will go mad. He always went to pieces after that business with the daughter.
He did shoot his blood pressure up a notch or two.
Why do you always make out things are funny, Trevor? It hurt Frank badly. We can't all be like you know. Cool and collected.
It did have its funny side, Paula.
No, it didn't. What she did was disgusting.
And we get back to what's happened today. Seeing you like this will make their day. You mustn't let them see how upset you are.
So we just let things get worse. It's not your garage they've soiled.
What do you want to do, Paula? Call in Peter the cartoon copper? He won't be able to prove anything. He'll just tell us to keep a log. This is our problem, and we are going to have to deal with it.
And that means we need to plan what we do next. So, what's your idea? I know that look.
Nothing, as yet. But we are going to have to raise the stakes. First, though, we need to make sure Frank doesn't do something stupid. When does he get back?
This afternoon. You've got 9 holes booked, remember?
God, my memory. Paula, don't ring him or text him. Just close the garage doors and make yourself scarce. They're sure to be watching to see what you do.
This is a living nightmare. It's really upset me.
It's understandable. We'll come round the back way so they can't see us and help you get it all cleaned up. And when Frank gets back, we'll be there with you.
Thanks. I don't think I could face him on my own. Come back with me, Brenda, please.
Not just yet. I want to talk to Trevor, but I'll be there in 5 minutes. Paula has got a point. This could get out of hand.
Only if we let it. We have to retaliate, that's for sure, but we mustn't fall to their level.
Meaning,
we escalate the situation, but stay in control.
you're going to have to be a little more original than redecorating a garage with dog shit. Frank and Paula need us and the rest of the village. We have to take a lead, hit back, and hit hard.
Like we did in Karachi.
Exactly. We got it right then, and we can do it again. That lot have bought their way into this village on the back of a lottery ticket. He can't play golf, but he joined your club just because he can walk there and drink himself silly. And she can't string 3 words together without effing and blinding. We've worked and saved all our lives to get what we have, and so have Frank and Paula. We shouldn't have to put up with the likes of this lot. It's our village.
You sound a trifle annoyed.
Piss off, idiot. And their kids? She's a tart, and he'll kill someone the speed he races around those lanes in his car.
He's got a motorbike now.
I know, I'm not deaf. We can't keep letting them get away with this. We can't sleep until they go to bed. We take our lives in our hands if we walk anywhere. And when Frank said good morning to the girl, she flashed him and told him she'd had an even better night.
Poor Frank. I still don't think he's fully recovered.
Stop it. Paula's right. It's no longer a joke. They depend on us not retaliating. There's no one we can complain to. It's their house, so they can't be evicted. We really have to damage them, Trevor.
I can be at my most serious when I joke. You know that.
Well, sometimes we need to be seen to be tough.
And you think this is the time?
No, I think we should throw them a party, bake them a cake.
Okay, Sarky Boots, but Frank, do you think he's tough enough?
One look at his garage should do it.
Why slash only 2 tyres on my car? Why not all 4?
Perhaps that's all they can count up to. 1 too many.
Hilarious. Maybe I should report it.
Oh, don't even consider it. Peter will just give you a crime number and that'll be job done. We need to keep it quiet. Plan our next move.
We can't keep it quiet forever. And we're obviously the target.
Are we? Who's to say it's just us? There could be others in the village too scared, too embarrassed to say anything.
Since the dog crap, we've had broken glass on our drives, washing lines cut, his motorbike at all hours, and now this.
Don't forget when she flashed you. It'll be fun reporting that.
It won't. All I can remember is how scared I was.
Scared? A naked woman and you a married man?
Give it a rest, Trevor. I was genuinely scared. Me and Paul aren't used to dealing with people like this.
I know. I can see how it's affecting you both.
I've only ever mixed with people like myself. Same school, same church. Proper church, where they don't wave their arms around. At uni, I spent all my time studying, didn't do the social bit. And you don't tend to meet the likes of our neighbours when you spend 30 years in charge of a medical library. They're a separate species to me. So, yes, I was scared. Scared she might make a malicious complaint. You read about it all the time.
Hey, calm down, Frank. I get what you're saying. Believe me, I'm angry about them too.
But you don't show it, Trevor. You're always so calm.
That's because I've decided not to show how angry I am. I refuse to give them the satisfaction. Look at it this way. If we call in Peter, they'll see us as weak, which is a win in their twisted minds. Stay silent and they win again because they would see us as being afraid of them, too scared to do anything.
And they'd be right.
Only if we think small.
Small?
Yes. Petty little retaliations. It's pointless.
Meaning?
I mean, forget tit-for-tat stuff. Let them think they've bullied us into submission. Then we retaliate, but in a way they would never believe. Or Peter, for that matter.
You've lost me.
How far are you prepared to go with this, Frank?
It depends.
Well, say, further than the dog.
Like what?
Drastic action, like Brenda says. So big, so unimaginable, yet totally without any suspicion of a crime having been committed.
Why do I think you mean something violent?
That's exactly what I mean. But as with the dog, untraceable.
But they did trace us.
No, they didn't. They only suspected. This time, it'll be so big, there won't even be suspicion.
Go on. But it better make sense.
Brenda thinks of them as a disease, a plague in the village. And she's right. It can only get worse. So we have to protect ourselves.
You get the point, Trevor.
The old fella. I've been watching him for weeks. Sits over there at the bar most nights thinking he's one of us. But no one speaks to him because he isn't one of us. So he drinks. Come 11, he'll totter off home along the coast road.
Oh, and that's your idea, is it? A hit and run on a lonely stretch of road. You're a fantasist.
Do you think I'm that stupid? Credit me with more sense. I said it must be untraceable, didn't I?
How?
A neighbourly act. We offer him a lift home.
Kidnapping now, is it? Well, I'm not keeping him in my house.
Neither am I. But we do give him a lift, and we do drop him off, but not necessarily back at his house.
Where? Somewhere out on the fells where he dies of exposure?
Pretty much. Would that disgust you?
Of course it would.
Even if it ended all the upset to you and Paula?
That's not the point.
So if he died, you'd go to his funeral? Play the good neighbour?
Of course I wouldn't. I'd dance on his coffin given half the chance.
Why only half a chance, Frank? Why not a full chance?
It's a big step from wanting someone out of the way to murder.
Murder? I've never mentioned murder. What if he just disappeared? People disappear every day.
Right, stop it. This has you and Brenda written all over it. Some mad scheme the pair of you cooked up over too many gins.
That's true, but it was Merlot, not gin. It isn't about murder. It's about him finding himself in a dangerous situation, one in which he has to make the correct choice or face the consequences.
And that's supposed to make sense, is it?
I'm sick of being bullied by a family of Neanderthals destroying our lives. When we're together, we always end up talking about them, but we never do anything. It's up to us to stop it. The police are useless. There is only us.
I know all that. Just tell me what you have in mind.
I can't until I know you're with me.
Well, you expect me to join a murder plan without knowing the details?
I've told you it isn't murder. If he dies, it will be because he's stupid or unlucky, but not because we murdered him. We place him in the lap of the gods. If he survives, he either won't remember what happened or feel grateful to us for helping him. Not to thank us, of course.
Still has a strong whiff of murder about it.
No, it doesn't. Murder is a bullet through the brain, a knife to the heart, a blunt instrument across the back of the head. This has no gun, no knife, no lead piping, no blood even. It's just a case of leaving someone to fate. Well, are you with me? When we first came here, the sea was much further out, but now, another 5 years and they'll have to close the road.
Can't see him yet. How long are we going to wait?
When they do close it, we'll have to use the top road to get to the club. That's another 4 miles. We'll have to ask Brenda and Paula to ferry us. Can't risk it on the top road.
What are you talking about?
Just thinking. I wonder if Peter knows we use this road to get back from the club and doesn't bother to check up on us. It'd be nice to think he did. That would be proper policing. We picked a good night. Just look at those waves. The road will be littered with rocks in the morning.
You sure he'll come this way?
Oh, which other way could he go? You made sure you said goodbye to Sandra, didn't you?
Yeah, and she was talking to Liz. Check the time with them.
And I made sure Gary's crowd saw us leave early.
Look, there he is. God, he's all over the place. I hope it's the drink and not the wind blowing him about.
Wait. Let him get closer. Hey! Stan! You want a lift?
What? Who's it?
It's me, Trevor, from the village. It's a rotten night. Get in, we'll take you back. He's drunk, all right. We'll put him in the back.
Hi, Stan. Can't see you struggle home.
Thanks. Wind's horrible. Can't breathe.
Lucky for you, we had a puncture.
Puncture? Who punched her?
No, puncture, Stan. No one's been hit. Get the jack, Trevor.
Sorry, Stan, just thought. You're going to have to get out. We need to jack up the car, and it won't help if you're still in it.
Me and mind up. In, out. Where you want me?
Come with me, Stan, while Trevor changes the wheel.
Where are we going? What are we doing?
Come on, Stan. Up here, out the way. Once the wheel's changed, we'll get you home.
Where are we?
We're on Ossel's jetty. We're just getting out Trevor's way. Here, Stan, hold on to this post. Don't leave go. I'll be back in a second. Just going to help Trevor.
Where you going? Don't leave me.
Just stay where you are, Stan. Don't move.
Where you going?
Get in the car, Frank.
Come on, let's leave him. We've done what we said. Just drive off.
No! We'll wait. See what happens.
That's not part of the plan. Fate, you said. We leave him here.
And we have done. But I want to know what happens. I don't want a sleepless night.
You seriously think we'll get any sleep tonight?
Can you see him? What's he doing? I can't see him from here.
It's too dark. Put the reversing lights on.
No, wait here while I go and check.
No, don't. Trevor, we said we just leave. Oh, sod it. Well?
He's not there. And I'm lucky to get back. That wind's a killer. And the waves are starting to cover the jetty.
Did you see him go over?
No. And before you ask, I did not help him on his way. Must have let go of that post. Once he'd done that, in his state,
You're sure?
he's not there. You didn't see him come past here, did you?
No.
Well, unless he got beamed up, he's floating down to Silloth. Don't forget, tomorrow, first thing, our Simon's workyard. Swap these tyres over just in case. Come on. Cheer up.
Thanks for the tea and for the statement, Trevor.
I don't like saying this, Peter, but in a way we're all a bit to blame. We all knew he frequently walked home from the club half cut. Well, fully cut, really, but we kind of ignored it. I'm just glad no one mowed him down. Better he drowned than being hit by a car.
Don't give him a second thought. He was his own worst enemy.
Did that sound callous, what I just said? It would be terrible if we had to live with a bag full of what-ifs.
A few people in the village have had near misses with him.
So I've heard. That coast road is dangerous enough at high tide when you're sober. But drunk and on a night like that.
It was a bit wild. It's why we left early.
I assume you were under the limit.
But of course, never know when you might be lying in wait.
Hardly used these days, that road. Is Frank in, do you know?
It's Thursday, shopping and library day.
Can't see it matters. Your statement should be enough. Liz at the club said she'd offered to order a taxi for him and got a mouthful of foul language for her trouble. What makes people so angry? Damned if I can work it out. Oh, thanks again for the tea. I'll see myself out. Bye.
An Oscar-winning performance. Well done.
And he won't see Frank.
You aren't worried about Frank, are you?
Get the words right, but he can be a bit like a Dalek when he's uncertain.
And you're sure he hasn't said anything to Paula?
Come on, Brenda. He's so protective of her, he'd be terrified to tell her the truth. She thinks he stopped here for a nightcap, and that's what she'll tell Peter if he does call round.
I think you're starting to enjoy all this, manipulating everyone, holding back on a need-to-know basis.
He wasn't there when I went back to look, Brenda. I have never lied to you, and I never will. I did not kill him.
Darling, it honestly doesn't matter to me. If you'd given him a push, I'd be proud of you. I wouldn't tell you, of course. It'd make you throw up if I did. Whatever did or didn't happen is fine by me. I'm not Paula. You don't have to protect me.
Protect you? I wouldn't dare try.
Which is why I believe you. You did the right thing. Push, nudge, trip, or just leaving him. It doesn't matter to me. Now, if you'd done nothing, allowed him to continue to contaminate our village, I'd have given you hell for that, and then some.
Oh, scary wife. Please not, scary wife.
Bugger off and get your coat. Time to seem normal. Library first, then lunch in town. You're paying.
Oh, listen to that. It hasn't taken them long to get back to their old ways.
4 weeks and 3 days, to be precise.
I thought they would have put the house on the market by now. So much for my wishful thinking. I assumed it was him that wanted to move here, and he dragged the rest of them with him.
There can't be anything to keep them here now. Surely the kids would sooner be back in town with their friends.
If anything, it's got worse. The noise, the litter.
Yes, thanks, Paula. We have noticed. Just stop going on about it.
I'm sorry. I was only making a comment.
Oh, forget it. I'm getting snappier by the day. Villages were never intended for their kind. We came here for peace and quiet, away from low life like them.
Frank and I wanted the same.
It was only by accident we came here, Paula.
Accident?
Yes. You know we used to live in Manchester.
I know you both used to work there.
We had a semi in one of the smart bits on the outskirts, where they still have grammar schools, and both a Sainsbury's and a Booths. Both our jobs were stressful, so whenever we could, we zoomed up the M6 into the lakes. Not that we're climbers, or even ramblers, come to that. We just loved the peace. Then it seemed like more and more people had the same idea, and what we were trying to avoid seemed to have followed us up the motorway. All the villages full of day trippers.
We don't go to the south of the county anymore because of that.
We had thought of retiring up here, Ambleside, Grasmere, but we were put off because of the visitors and the prices they were asking for houses.
Oh, it's ridiculous. Holiday homes, empty for half the year.
We'd almost given up. But then one weekend, midsummer and hot as hell, we couldn't find a parking place. Everywhere was jammed, queues miles long. Well, Trevor may know his way around Asia, but he sod all use as a navigator around Cumbria, and we found ourselves heading along that road from Penrith to Wigton. That's a gorgeous road, as you know. But then, God knows how, we hit Silloth to Maryport Road, the coast road. If there was another car on the road, we didn't see it. We were too busy looking at the Solway coast and Criffel. No hordes of tourists. We even got served in a pub without having to wait a fortnight. Allenby or Crosby it was, I'm not sure which. When we got home, we looked at the property prices and couldn't believe our luck.
Well, houses like ours are double the price in Keswick.
But it's not just the price of houses, is it, Paula? It's the full package. Neighbours we could trust. Summer parties. Christmas get-togethers. Being known at the golf club and in the pubs and shops. Sharing cars to go into town. We didn't know it then, but...
Well, that worried me when we first moved in. Living close like that. People knowing our business. But once I realised it wasn't a threat, I knew I could stay and be happy.
We have to save it, Paula. We worked damned hard to get here, sank all we could afford into the move, doing the house up to how we wanted it. Underfloor heating, ensuite in every bedroom, a dream kitchen, and the garden cost a fortune. So I'll be buggered if I let that lot ruin it all.
They've moved on, you know.
Moved on?
Had you not noticed? They've started loitering now. His friends, the boy racer. I heard some of them shouting at the Gaskills, but they pretended they hadn't. And they snigger and whisper when they see you.
We all hoped once Stan died it would all stop.
We thought that when the dog went, didn't we?
I doubt anything will improve until until the whole family goes.
Eight 96431. Frank, how is she? Good. Yes, you're right. She will be better off there. I can tell. A lot quieter there than it is here at the moment. I'd give it a week. See how she is then. The last thing she wants is to see you worked up. Well, we can talk about that. What about you? You needn't worry. We can keep an eye on the place. Well, it's your decision, but if you do come back, you must eat with us until Paula can come home. Well, none of us can be sure, but I doubt they would. They always stay this side of the police. I agree. Cause to happen to Paula. Calm down, Frank. They aren't going to get away with this. But we have to plan. Cool heads, untraceable, remember? That's fine. We're with you. And give our love to Paula. Thanks for ringing. Bye.
So, how is she?
Frank says she's quiet, not saying much. But he's worried sick.
No wonder. Going off like that without a word.
No note, no idea where she was. God knows what he imagined.
You don't think she's worked out what happened, do you?
If she did know, she'd be in a far worse state. No. Frank reckons it's lack of sleep. That and worry about what they might do next.
Ironic, isn't it, that to get some peace she has to go and stay with her sister in Leeds?
Frank thinks he'll come back tomorrow.
And how's he?
Mad as hell. I think he'll be easier to persuade this time.
Persuade?
I'm more worried about him going off half-cock. I need him to, well, to stick with us and not have him nipping down to JD Sports to get a baseball bat.
Come on, share.
One of our friends has been driven from our own home, Brenda. We can't let that pass. It's about survival now, and I think Frank agrees. He's ready to do what I would never have thought he would even consider. I need to think up a plan.
Hold on. Stop there. Any planning involves me.
There's no need for you
There's
to...
every bloody need. Since that family ruined the village, I felt worthless, as if I've no control whatsoever over my life. If they were to pack up and leave tomorrow, I'd still fret. They've made this place, our community, vulnerable, shown it to be so delicate and fragile it can be easily smashed apart. So don't tell me I can't be a part of any plan you're hatching. And it's not a matter of getting them out anymore. I want to hurt them. Hard. For killing what we built here.
I'd forgotten your ability to terrify people.
Back then it was part of the job. This is personal. Do you honestly think we can rely on Frank?
I think so. No, I know so. But let's get this straight. We're not pissing about this time. We don't rely on fate. We don't give anyone a choice. We go for it. We make certain and settle it for good.
When Frank gets back, we make sure he comes in with us, whatever it takes. Paula is the key to that, I'm sure. So now you can tell me what your devious little mind has been working on. An accident of some sort, I guess.
Thank God you haven't got Peter's job. You'd have us locked up by now.
Come on, coffee time. Run your idea past me while we make it. Trevor? Trevor? Speak to me.
OK, Brenda, we're both in position. How are things up your end?
Fine. But remind me to tell Simon to keep his Jeep tidier. And someone's been smoking in this one. If it's Simon, I'll kill him when they get back from Greece.
We might all need a fag after this. Can you see OK from there?
Nothing's changed since you checked. Stop fretting. Frank, how are things with you?
Fine. Nobody can see me. Well back off the lane.
You're sure?
Positive. Just don't forget to pick me up after.
Make sure you hit that button if anyone does turn up the lane.
Yeah, I think I can manage that.
Eh? Cut it out. We're all on edge. Calm, remember?
Not long to wait. Assuming our timings are accurate.
Don't start getting shaky, Trevor. We've checked it out 12 times. Thursday nights. Clockwork.
Yes. Brenda, remember...
Trevor, stop treating me like an idiot. A lot of this was my idea, and I know it will work. If you're having doubts, we can stop it now. Frank, are you still okay with this?
You don't need to worry about me. And we aren't stopping.
And I'm OK with it too, just needed to be sure.
Good. Trust me. If I see anyone else on the lane, we'll abort it.
Abort it? God, you'll have to stop watching those films on Netflix, Brenda.
That's better, Trevor. We wait. This is an accident waiting to happen. Just like we planned.
We'll all meet at Simon's after.
Trevor, we've been through. Hold on. I can see a headlight. I can hear a bike. It's got to be him. It has to be him. Spot on time. Yes, he's turning into the lane. It's definitely him. Trevor, it's him. It's him. He's off. God, can you hear him yet? You've got about 20 seconds.
Got it. Yes, I can hear him. Bloody idiot. It's done. I'll pick up Frank. Get moving, Brenda.
I'll get it. Hello, Peter. Come on in. You look frozen. Trevor, it's Peter.
Oh, thanks, Brenda. You'd think I'd be warm in this lot, wouldn't you?
Hello, Peter. This is about the boy, isn't it?
I'm seeing everyone in the village, Trevor. But you said...
Yes. I did ask if you would call. Tea, there's some just brewed.
Oh, please. Milk? 1 sugar?
I think we both know by now. You'll be getting your own mug soon.
So, the boy. Ash, isn't it? How is he?
Ashley, his full name. Ash for short. That's not looking good. He may not be dead, but he's as good as. Only a matter of time before they switch him off. A mercy when they do, if you ask me.
God, that's awful. His poor mother.
I feel really bad about this. I can't pretend they were our favourite neighbours, but for this to happen so soon after Stand Round.
And they must have thought themselves the luckiest family in the country after their lottery win.
So, what can you tell me, Trevor? You sounded worried on the phone.
Peter, what can I say? It's going to stay with me for the rest of my life.
Better you tell me now. Something about the trailer, wasn't it?
Yes, it is. I mentioned it to a few people, but you know how it is. I didn't want to cause a fuss, didn't want to be seen as the village busybody. Oh, I wish I had now. I really wish I had.
We can't turn the clock back, no matter how much we'd like to. Just tell me what you know. What happened?
Before I do, can you tell me if I'm putting myself in trouble?
How can I tell you that before you explain what this is all about? You're going to have to at some stage. May as well be now.
A few weeks ago, I can't be certain when, I was out for a walk and I noticed that the gate to that field was open. Eric doesn't have any cattle these days, so he's got into the habit of leaving his gates open. Easier for him, I suppose. Anyway, I noticed he'd parked an old trailer in the field.
Oh, I'd seen it too. Typical of Eric, dumping stuff he doesn't need. Never crossed my mind it would slip back. I'd have said something to him.
But that's just it. I thought the same as you at first, but after passing it a few times, it crossed my mind that it had been parked on a rise and perhaps it might slip. I checked it and saw he'd shoved a couple of wedges under the wheels. Got to wondering if the brakes were knackered.
And did you tell him what you thought?
Eric! You know what a kind of a bad-tempered sod he can be. Nicest bloke on earth as long as you don't criticise him. Got a mouthful of him once for mentioning mud he'd left on the road. Wasn't risking that again.
I don't blame you. Awkward bugger when he wants to be.
But I did tell one or two in the village, those who know him better and who he might listen to. I suppose I just hoped it would get passed on and sorted out.
Oh, I've heard worse tales. Don't lose sleep over it. It's not your fault.
But that's not the end of it.
No? What else is there?
A couple of days before the accident, I gave it a closer inspection.
And? What?
Well, this time it was obvious it was the wedges holding it in place.
How could you know that?
Because I kicked one of them and the whole thing lurched.
I see. I'll need to...
That's what I meant about letting myself in for trouble. I put the wedge back, obviously, and closed the gate so that if it did start to move, it wouldn't run into the lane. But next time I went past, the gate was open again. I should have got someone to help me swing it round so it couldn't roll back. But it slipped my mind.
Just 2 days before the accident, you think? I can see why it might prey on your mind. But try not to blame yourself. There are plenty others who'll be only too willing to do that if it gets out.
Oh, thank God you've said that. It's what I've been saying to him since it happened. He's barely slept, you know. He's terrified what people will say.
What do you think will happen, Peter? This might seem like I'm being selfish, especially when I think what that family is going through, but I would like my mind put at rest. Will what I've said have to come out?
I'll have to run it past my boss. But don't worry. The worst that can happen is you may be called to be a witness at the inquest. When we get to that point.
Oh, no, I'd rather not.
Nothing's definite. As I said, I'll have a word. You did what you could, and you closed the gate. No one with an ounce of sense can hold you responsible. Any coroner would be highly sympathetic.
But if it does come out, it will cause such bad feeling in the village.
Look, I'll talk to my boss about it. He's a good bloke, knows the school. He's worked this patch for years and can read between the lines, if you get my drift. And let's not forget, the kid was doing 63. If he was doing 30, as he should have been, he'd have easily seen the trailer.
63? On that lane? Is that possible?
He was on a motorbike.
Even so. I have to tell he was known for speeding about the place. He's had a few near misses in the past. Not being nasty, but I'm glad it was just him, no one else involved.
Everyone says the same, Brenda. It doesn't make it any less tragic. I think that's all I need for now.
Thanks, Peter. I know you can't promise anything, but you've already taken a load off my mind. Do you fancy another brew? It is cold out there.
This may be in bad taste, but I'll propose it anyway. A toast. Thank God that's all over with.
Cheers. Let's hope it is.
Of course it is. You heard the coroner. Accidental death. Another avoidable and pointless death. Kids and motorbikes. Lethal. Happens all too often round here.
The local rag would be only 2 pages thick if it didn't.
Tell you this, if we hadn't taken him out when we did, some other poor soul would have been joining him in the creme.
Taken him out? God, you're getting as bad as Brenda. Even though that bit's over there still there. Mum and daughter.
Oh, come off it, Trevor. It's the end of it. No more. The noise has stopped. No late-night parties. No gangs of kids hanging around. Even the litter levels are down.
Don't worry, I've not got bloodlust. But I do want the village back. I used to be able to walk past every house, every cottage, and have something good to say about the people in each one. I want to feel that again.
Give it time. There's a better feeling about the place already. Like they're coming out of hibernation. People are stopping to talk each time instead of hurrying to get home.
Liberation after occupation. But it still feels tarnished. If they move, then perhaps we can get some decent people in. People like us.
We'll have to wait and see about that. We can't pick and choose who moves in.
Why not?
Why not? Because it's a ridiculous idea.
Is it? They seem to manage it in the towns. Separate them out.
That's money. Wealthy suburbs versus ghettos.
So it's less of a problem, isn't it, in the towns and cities? In a village, they overrun the place.
You're getting it all out of proportion.
Am I? Villages are like islands, small population and limited resources. Look what happened to the school. Closed down, so all our kids had to go into town and mix with their scummy lot. In an affluent area, all the kids will come from similar backgrounds. No scum. And if any do move in, they chuck them out, exclude them. Our village kids were thrown to the wolves.
And I'm sure you'll get elected next time.
I'm not being funny, Frank. Take the medical centre. When you go, you find yourself in a queue behind those without a job or those wanting to be signed off. The place is crowded with teenage mums and their screaming brats. Do you think that happens in the smart suburbs and dormitory towns?
Probably not. Perhaps our village will become gentrified and we can separate ourselves from the town.
That's my point. It already is gentrified, and we have to defend it, protect it against those who don't care about it like we do.
Oh, come on, I wasn't being serious.
I am. Hear me out. When you buy into a village, you buy into a way of life. I did. You did. Your family, your house becomes part of a community. And that's something we have over the suburbs, that sense of closeness, trust. But on the downside, it's easier to destroy, which is what nearly happened. Can't you see that? If I'm allowed to defend my home against an intruder, then why can't we defend our community in the same way?
What do you want, Trevor? For us to proclaim unilateral independence?
Now who's joking? But I'll promise you this, I'm not going to rest till they move out.
And if they do? You said it yourself, there's no guarantee about who will buy it.
I seriously doubt we could be that unlucky again.
We can't be certain. We have to accept whatever happens. It's over now, whether they leave or not. Don't forget, I'm worse off than you as a result of all this.
You mean Paula?
Total nervous wreck. You'll never get back to work.
That's true. Sorry. I wasn't thinking. Just me sounding off.
At least she's back home. And she knows nothing about what happened. You're lucky. Brenda knows the full story. I've got to keep it hidden from Paula. Finish her off completely if she knew. We've never had secrets, but by God, this one makes up for it.
If she did find out, what do you think she would do?
She wouldn't go running to the police, if that's what you mean.
Of course it isn't. It's when you said, finish her off.
Suppose she'd collapse, go to pieces. Start shaking every time the doorbell rings. Nightmares. Avoid people for fear she might say the wrong thing. Possibly turn into a recluse, who knows? The important thing is that she doesn't know, and must never know. Another? I'll get them on my way back. I'm off for a pee. Bitter?
You're right, Frank. She must never know. And we're going to have to make certain she never finds out. I know I won't tell her, and I know Brenda won't. What about you, Frank? What if in a few months' time your conscience starts to keep you awake? Or in an unguarded moment you let something slip? Perhaps start talking in your sleep? What about you, Frank? What about you?
You have been listening to Strangers in Paradise by Kevin France. The part of Trevor was played by Jonathan Vickers, Brenda by Viv Mools, Frank by Simon Giles, Paula by Joe Thomas, Peter by Keith Spence, and Stan by Mike Head. It was directed by Mike Head. Music by Pete Moran. This was a 1-5 Events production, supported by Create to Connect.